Welcome to Rage, Grace, and Everything in Between. This is our unfiltered conversation about navigating neurodivergence and every stage of menopause at the same time.
Hi, I'm Michelle, postmenopausal ADHD.
And I'm Angel, perimenopausal and ADHD. We're not here as experts. We're just two neurodivergent midlife women figuring it out in real time.
If you've ever felt alone, broken, or like you're losing your mind, you're not. You're unmasking, you're changing, you're becoming.
If you're a neurodivergent woman in midlife,
Or someone who loves one,
this is your permission slip, your exhale, your reminder that you're allowed to take up space.
so grab your beverage of choice, lower your expectations, and settle in. Welcome to the conversation. Let's begin. The myth of the comeback. Like, reinvention isn't just about returning to an old version of yourself. Midlife reinvention feels very much different because of our hormones, the different ways that we respond emotionally, and the pressure to bounce back, to recover, versus the freedom of building forward. Let's talk about these things. If you talk to any of my friends, they would tell you that I have reinvented myself multiple times. It's kind of been a lifelong pursuit,
You've lived a lot of lives in this
life. Yeah. Like when I meet new people and, you start telling your stories, people just look at me like I must be fucking crazy because there's no way all of these things happen. Right. But like the current iteration of me, like I said, in the intro, I can't fake it till I make it. It's not, I can't get that far. I can't fake my way through the audition, which is, the application and resume and interview process. And I can't even get to the training and, faking it stage. like I'm not even getting the chance. Every time life throws me for a loop in the past, I have just picked up the pieces and looked around at the resources that I possess and went, let's do this. Let's try that. I tack and I jib and, I find the prevailing winds and I move in that direction. One of my besties calls it my Phoenix phase, right? And I've always had the resources to start over, but starting from scratch, I find that success kept being temporary, more temporary and more temporary, and my current ability to mask or my desire to mask just isn't there anymore. It just isn't there, and when you look at the high cost of masking, it just it did math for me anymore. It just looked like Trump math to me. The 400%, 500%, 600%.
When you can only have 100%.
Like I just can't get there. Yeah. And it knocked me down a few rungs, after this last job. Like I had to do some real, like I've never been out of work this long.
Mm-hmm. You've been able to find something.
And I had to have a heart-to-heart with my spiritual self, because my spiritual self just wants me to go open a recovery, women's empowerment wellness center, and take a gamble on that. And we're in a really downward moving economy under a conservative president. Like my grandmother raised me to be a pragmatist, and so like one half of my brain is doing all those calculations while the other half of my brain is going, girl, move into the space that you were always meant to be in. But because of that pragmatism, I've always like in moments of high stress, chickened out and moved into spaces of perceived safety, the corporate job or the whatever, working for the man, and that community of critics, the outward community and the inward community that I've built over my life, they just become so loud that it's difficult to move forward. But it's come to the point where I just,
you have to
shut the fuck up, because you're just no longer serving a purpose in my life, because I literally cannot move in the direction that my pragmatist self says I should move. I can't. I don't have that left. I'm going to have to turn around now, and this is the time to really look at the skills and abilities I have and figure out how I can combine that into streams of income. Working for myself was exhausting, but I also was going through all of everything, during that period of my life.
Without the support that I'm receiving,
right?
Without the therapy, without the hormone replacement, without really knowing what was going on, without the diagnosis.
Yeah. But when I look across my life, I was never more myself than when I was working for myself. I mean, that was my authentic me all the time.
And that's the goal. Yeah. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Like I had to do so little masking during that part of my life. Mm-hmm. Very little masking. I mean, I probably lost a lot of friends. So much unmasking. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there is so much pressure to continue to be the person that I've always been. Right. It seems like it would be easier, but I found it to be impossible to continue to be the person I was. Like, we have to continue to move forward and grow. If I don't continue to move forward and grow, I know I will end up depressed. A depressed hoarder. Is what I'm going to end up being. I have seen it happen too many times.
Yeah.
And I have felt how easy it would be to fall into that negative spiral. Because that's exactly what it is. Like, once you're in there,
you've got small parts of your house that are already working
exactly.
their way towards.
So, like, these parts, I have to, I clean them out, and then it's
like trying to dig a hole at the beach.
Yeah.
The waves just keep coming in
and I tell myself, well, as long as my living space is okay.
Right. Yeah.
But like, during this process, you have to grieve the person that you were, or at least I do, grieve the person I was, and grieve the person I thought I was going to
become.
Right? You talked about, you thought you were going to have this household filled with kids and grandkids. And
I wanted like 5 or 6 kids and like 20, 25 grandkids. Like my grandma.
Yeah, but it didn't work out with the partnerships that you thought.
God, no.
So like, you have to have a partner in order to have you don't have to.
Right.
It's preferred. It's preferred. But I will, the person I thought I was going to be is somebody who had their shit together. So that's the person I have to grieve, because I really, really thought that I would have myself together by now. But
there are people in the world that look at you and go, man, someday I want to have my shit together like her.
Yeah. This is true. This is true. But I am becoming somebody that I am proud to be. I will say that. If it's only someone who is willing to listen and learn. I'm always so impressed by people who are older, who are still willing to listen and to learn from other people, instead of sitting there thinking, oh, I know everything.
Yeah, I'll be the first person to admit that I don't know everything. Like, people used to accuse me of being a know-it-all and accusing me of thinking that I knew everything. And I'd be like, no, man, not me. Mm-hmm. I'm not closed off to learning.
Yeah, and I'm always so impressed by older people who are like, oh, well, thank you for showing me the light, And I guess the biggest lesson I've learned from growing older and this stage of life is that most things don't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, we could all learn a little more of that every day. So let's talk about small shifts, big changes, right? Reinvention doesn't always start with a grand plan.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it starts with little rebellions.
Yeah.
Like saying no without apologies and changing routines, rediscovery, rediscovering joy. Like midlife women often reinvent quietly before they reinvent loudly. Like, talk about quiet quitting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the role of curiosity. Like, what if I tried this? Or who should I be? Like, without the pressures of adolescence, being allowed to go back through that process.
Yeah.
Basically. Like, like I said, pragmatist. I've always had this strong need to have a safety net. In the beginning, I was looking for any work. Now, I'm not even looking at like job listings. If it's not something I'm willing to do, I don't know if I'm willing to do it anymore. And I think that that's shining through every job application, every interview. When you're in this phase of changing, because people have become so accustomed to who you are, like things that might be microaggressions, us being a little passive aggressive, or just stating this is my new me, people are receiving those as microaggressions.
What do you mean you're not going to do this anymore? What do you mean you're not going to do my laundry anymore? What do you mean you're not going to watch my kids anymore?
What do you mean you're not making dinner every night? Just whatever. But we're at that place where we need to draw a line in the sand, taking out the trash, right? We do not care anymore. When you start looking out for yourself from the outside, it looks like selfishness. It looks like you being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll always go back to that story that I tell. I don't even remember the original story because I've used this reference for so long now. It's just become the Mother Teresa selflessness analogy. But there's a story that I saw somewhere, read somewhere, heard somewhere, I don't even know anymore, about Mother Teresa talking about how if you want to make the world a better place, start with you. Be a little selfish. Do things that bring you joy because your happiness has a ripple effect in your community.
Sharing your gifts with the world.
Right? So anything that you do to improve your situation that looks selfish is actually selfless. Love that, right? Well, and also, I talked to you off camera about making the decision to pull a little chunk out of my retirement fund. I came to the realization the other day that I needed to relieve that stress valve, that built up pressure that was just continuing to build up about not having an income stream while I'm testing the waters of what I want to do.
Because it shuts down creativity. Stress just shuts down creativity. So
yeah.
You're stuck in survival mode.
Yeah. So this leaves me with the reserves now. Like I know I have a source of income until December, no matter what happens between now and then, that will allow me the freedom to do some recreation because we need that.
Yeah.
To do some self-care because I've been neglecting that. And all of this leads to me being able to tap into my creativity and find those possible income streams that are...
And to invest in those possible income streams.
Yeah, they're built off of doing things that bring me joy, so that I can buy equipment, I can buy materials, whatever, buy another MacBook because
Something that
going back to PC is just so gross. So yeah, so this gives me the space. This gives me the room. This gives me the safety net to begin to test the waters of different income streams, whether it's buying equipment, buying materials, or just paying the bills while I
figure it out.
Fuck around and figure it out.
Fuck around and find out.
Right? Yeah, so
yeah, something in your wheelhouse. And like I keep saying, that's the dream. Like I have no grand plan. There's no 10, 20-year plan over here. I'm taking it one day at a time.
Where do you want to be in 5 years? I hate when they ask me that in an interview. In 5 years, I'll be in my 60s. I really don't want to see me working.
I just watched The Intern with Anne Hathaway and what's his name?
Robert De Niro.
Yeah, and they were like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And he's like, I'm 70. What do you mean? Where do I see myself in 10 years? Right. So, I mean, I don't know if it's my ADHD or my middle age, but like, I'll come across something and I just have to do it. I have to take the class. I have to learn more about it. I have to do the thing. And my husband, he'll say, well, why? Because I have to. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
Yeah.
Because I have to, it has to be enough. That has to be a good enough answer for everyone, including myself. Like it has to be good enough for me. Because sometimes I ask myself why, and I don't know.
Well, and like I said last episode, my grandma loved to quote Katharine Hepburn, right? When Katharine Hepburn got to middle age, her favorite line to say in response to that was, never complain and never explain.
No.
Right?
Just do your thing.
Yeah. Like,
it looks selfish, but guess what?
Selfless. Mother Teresa.
But I do not care.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I do keep trying new things and finding new passions. I really enjoyed literacy tutor, ESL tutor.
Yeah.
Teaching self-defense.
Right.
Female empowerment is like my thing. I found like
that's what tickles your belly button.
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy. It gets me so excited.
Yeah.
Painting, taking care of plants, which I have 2 out of 1,000 that are living right now.
I mean, keep trying though.
I'll keep trying, but these are staying alive. So I might try something else. Playing guitar, which I've never, I kind of learned. I'm like,
do you remember any chords?
No.
Oh, no. That's when you know you can play a guitar, is when you know what the chords are.
When I can pick up.
Yeah. If somebody says, play along with me, this chord.
And then I can just,
and you can just play that chord.
I was there before I put the guitar down, but my wrist got messed up. So picking up the guitar is
another problem with that depleting estrogen. So fucking wrists.
I'm constantly finding new subjects to read. Right now, I'm reading a book. I can't remember the title of the book. I should have written it down. But it's about heredity and how it has shaped every part of our world as we know it. Like economics, country borders, like every part of our world. And beekeeping. I don't know where beekeeping came from. I have no idea, but the other day I was just like, yeah, beekeeping. I don't know. Maybe it's because we were talking about the family commune that it showed up in my algorithm or something, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But everything feels different this time. It's because I have to do them for my sanity, right? Before it's like ADHD, you get hyper focused on this thing, whatever. But now I have to do it. I have to read. I have to learn about the thing. I have to take the class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So, giving ourselves the permission to become.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like giving yourself permission to not explain, to not feel that need for everybody to understand the justification for what you're doing. Like, I'm probably not going to talk to the rest of my family about the withdrawal from the retirement. I mean, my, young sons are going to, and daughter-in-law are going to talk about, needing to have a safety net when I retire. But honestly, I'm not going to get there if I check out because the stress has just become too big. Like Sunday morning, I woke up just with the overwhelm to check out, like it took me the whole day and part of the next day to really bounce out of that gutter of just hopelessness.
And if you find something that you can do until you die, then none of this matters.
Right.
Something that brings you so much joy and so much joy to those that you help or serve.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
With everything we do.
I don't want to die a painful death. I can't starve myself because I'm diabetic and yeah.
But
yeah,
at the end of the day, if you find something you love, it'll carry you through regardless.
Yeah. So reinvention is an ongoing practice. Like I've said, when my friends started calling me the Phoenix, I was like, oh, that can't look good on a resume. If I typed out every job I've ever had on my resume, we're looking at probably more than 5 pages, Mm-hmm. But even how identity loss from last week's episode that we talked about, like how this becomes the fertile ground for reinvention, the power of our community, women reinvent better when we're witnessed by others and not receiving judgment for it. Mm-hmm. I no longer feel like I need to get it exactly right the first time out the door. Mm-hmm. For years, I had art supplies that sat there because I was trying to come up with the exact right, perfect first project.
That journal you never write in because it has to be, every entry has to be perfect.
Perfect, right? Publishable and I think that is a lot of the reasons why a lot of organizational techniques or motivational techniques or keeping on track techniques have not worked in the past, because I was so concerned with getting it exactly right. There's a saying in yoga, practice, all is coming.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard
Not
that.
Get it perfect, all is coming.
No.
Practice, all is coming, right? So I'm working on myself and all will follow. Maybe I just need to submit to the universe fully, submit to the divine, submit to God fully and say, okay, we're not, Michelle's not going to make the decisions, ego Michelle, insecure Michelle, little soft, vulnerable Michelle is going to submit to God, submit to the divine, the universe, whatever you want to call it, and allow it to bring me the exact right thing instead of me waiting for the exact right thing to happen.
It's kind of fun when it happens like that. When you submit and you find out that, oh shit, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. But what I do eventually is stop submitting and start trying to control, and that's when everything starts to fall apart again.
Yeah, right. Letting go of the idea of who I want to be and leaning more into the reality of who I am.
That's hard too.
An example, the other day I went shopping, high as fuck because it's been cold and rainy and that makes my joints hurt, but I am doing all this work in the garden, so
it's spring, so
I have to, keep microdosing to the point where I'm really high. So I go shopping and they have s'mores flavored Oreos, and I haven't eaten an Oreo in probably a couple of years.
It's a reason for that.
Yes. But hi, Michelle gets out of the way so that little Michelle can experience life, right? When I say little Michelle, I mean the last time I was authentic, right? The little girl who was just more curious than she was concerned. But so I'm like, Well, they were also 2 for $6. So Scottish Jewish Michelle had to buy a second pack. And I searched the whole store until I found more Oreos, and they have double dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is good for you. Antioxidants.
It's not dark chocolate, though. Just the flavor of dark chocolate.
But Michelle is so high that she has convinced herself, right? And I picked up a few more impulse buys, things that I normally don't buy at the grocery store, and forgot several of the healthy foods that I keep in the house so that when I am snackish,
you at least get some fiber in your diet.
Yeah, I can at least have some more nutritious or less bad options. But so, yeah, didn't taste like s'mores. I was very disappointed. But the object of that little meander was that as I was sitting on the sofa on the patio, enjoying a break in the rain, enjoying the birds coming in and out of the yard, enjoying that I have picked all of the dandelions in my just my backyard, just the part where I entertain. I've picked all the dandelion heads. Every day I come out and there's more, and I pick them and pick them and pick them and picked all the little ones that were turned into seeds but hadn't opened back up, and the ones that had opened up, and the ones that had like deposited on the ground. Picked up as many dandelions as I could, right? And so I'm just sitting out there enjoying the clean look of my yard, enjoying all the yard work that I've accomplished, all the other things that I've done. And as soon as one of them biddies in my head starts to say something about the fact that, all right, fatty, that's like your 12th Oreo. I'm like, you know what? This is making me feel good right now. So we'll deal with the blood sugar later, right? You know, if we go into a diabetic coma, so be it, right? But this is what is making little Michelle feel good. Like Michelle is feeling so good right now that I'm just going to do. I also bought hot cocoa. We're moving into the warmer months, but
it's still cool.
It's still cool. And I love to have me some hot cocoa and rock in my rocking chair before bed. So, so I did really good about just letting go of who I had wanted to be and just existed as I am. I just made decisions that made me happy. I feel so much less stress because I know that check is in the mail. You know, like room to breathe. Because breathing is important. It's so much easier having a partner or a cohort that's also going through all the same shit.
That's where community comes in.
So that I don't just compare myself against all these people that are succeeding in life, and I'm
or
a loser.
Seemingly succeeding.
Right. But from my perception, your perception is your reality,
yeah.
Right? So I'm going to use that withdrawal from the retirement fund to buy at least one resource towards investing in an income stream.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah,
I'll be right here with you.
Yeah.
You said it helps having people around you kind of going through the same crap. Well, I started walking with a friend. Our first day, we're going to go every Monday. We talk about being with community and being outside being as important as sleep, diet, and exercise, right? So being outside, being with a friend. And I told her, I said, what helps me is the fact that all my oldest friends, the same age as me, everyone has gained between 30 and 60 pounds this past year. So I know it's not just me. You know what I mean? I know it's not just me failing at life. I know it's like a thing that we're going through.
And you're going to lose it and gain it and lose it and gain it and lose it and gain it several times and before it sticks.
Before it just like, I just want to even out, but it does. It makes me feel a little bit better. But I keep trying. If something doesn't work out, guess what? I don't care. Right. I'm just gonna try something else.
And that's the trick is just letting go of that concern.
So we and you talked about like community and support and stuff like that. Recently, I had somebody refer to me as being epic.
Woo!
And literally somebody said, you're so epic, Angel.
I'm cool. I'm the cool one.
I mean, it was one of my brothers comparing me to him, saying that I'm the feminine to his masculine, but I'll take it. I'll take it all day. There was one day, I mean, there's been a lot of days, but this particular day, I was feeling it was a level of extreme self-doubt and imposter syndrome. You know, feeling bad for quitting my full-time job, for, you know, trying to do this nonprofit stuff. Like, who am I to try to do this? And I'm putting my husband through this thing and the financial burden of it and everything. And then a friend of mine reached out. I'm lucky enough to have a couple soulmates that I call friends. And one of them reached out. She says, so I've heard your song 3 days in a row in the morning. So I'm reaching out. Are you okay? I said, I'm not okay. So I told her how I was feeling. And she says, you're not an imposter. You are everything. And that, to this day, gets me through the day. To have somebody you love tell me tell me I'm epic and tell me that I'm everything.
So can I tell you the autism side of that?
Sure.
I just don't believe them. They're my family. They have to say that.
No, they don't.
I know, but that's like when the people that are closest to me say those things to me and I go, "Aw, shucks, thanks." There's that bitch in there that responds, they're just saying that because they love you.
They are saying it because they love you, but not just because they love you, but because they believe it's true.
Yeah.
So reinvention isn't about becoming someone new. It's about coming home to the parts of ourselves we buried to survive. One honest step, one quiet shift, one truth at a time. We're not reinventing to impress anyone. I'm not. This is for me. We're reinventing because the old rules don't fit anymore. This is when we finally stop performing and start choosing. We're not starting over. We're starting with wisdom, boundaries, and a whole lot less tolerance for bullshit.
Right.
This is the moment we return to ourselves, aligned, grounded, and fully ours again. So I'm going to ask everybody this week to choose one thing that feels like a step forward, a step toward the woman you're becoming. You know, read that book, write that story, record that tune, that song that's in your head. Create the thing, expand your field of vision, and learn who you are today. Because you are epic and you are everything.
Aww, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. So like when I was thinking about life hacks for reinvention, you know, I checked around on the internet and I found several resources. I'll put all the links down in the show notes, but one was a midlife reset free guide. And it was all about mindfulness and nutrition and the things that you can do to improve your self, improve your mindset, improve your ability to get through all the bullshit.
At least it gives you a place to start. Right?
Yeah, but it also talked about, you know, like hormone replacement versus not hormone replacement, lifestyle changes versus medications. You know, it talked about like maybe career changes and stuff like that, taking up hobbies, you know. So I mean, it talked about a lot of the things that we've talked about today. Another one was the menopause preparedness toolkit, and again, that was a lot of resources that help you to solve or resolve the issues that are the most painful or uncomfortable, right?
I mean, at the very least, it'll bring awareness to what you're going through.
Like one of them had a guide to finding doctors that are women positive, right?
Yeah.
And then My Mental Plan, like this one was an app, I think, where like you put in a whole bunch of your symptoms and blah, 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 and it tells you what to track to help improve those things and like that.
I'll have to check some of those out.
Yeah. So, again, links down in the show notes. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share. Time for a mindful minute, right? So, when I was thinking about what can help us release what is no longer needed and step into our new selves. And one of those is sometimes there's a poem or something about it where, like when the bud is too uncomfortable staying encased in the bud, it has to bloom, right? And so this time in our life, we are coming up against all this tension that we've held in our bodies for so long because we were resisting becoming our true form. Because that's really what I think this time of life allows us, is to release our societal shell and turn into our true form, right? And so there are a whole bunch of exercises that you can do. I'm going to demonstrate them sitting down. You can do them standing up. You can you can do them laying down, like whatever. But the first thing is patting. We're just going to pat our body, all of the places that you can comfortably reach. And you can do it with sound or without sound. The sound adds to the element of
because vibration.
Right? Yeah, right. Like all sounds are vibrations. So you start by patting, right? You pat your arms, pat your legs, pat everything that you can reach, right? Pat everything. And you can do it with a ah, an o, or an like like we like we did when we were kids. Tarzan, right? You can do a oh, or you can do a right? Firm squeeze. Now we used to do this in my yoga classes a lot, where especially with our legs, you would do, well, they always say start from extremity and move up, right? So squeezing all of the places that you can reach, that without having to contort yourself. Brushing, like try to brush towards extremities, right? But brushing is a beautiful lymphatic exercise too. But brush all the places that you can reach, like brush away from your heart. And again, you can do that with or without sound. So you could do a shh, 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 or you could do a whoosh, 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 right? Those are the sounds that came to mind when I did it.
Whatever your body and your spirit tells you to do, do it. Whatever feels good.
Be still.
Ooh.
Just be still. Notice the parts of your body that are tensed up. I have begun to notice, like sometimes you shift when you're standing from one hip to the other. Because I'm doing all this work in the garden, everything is achy all the time. So I'm constantly shifting around joints to get comfortable. And so I've started to notice when I shift, what's tensing up. Oh, let's release that. And I go right back to center.
As soon as you release.
Yeah, as soon as I release that. There's another one and this one is probably more comfortable to do standing. I'm going to turn a little sideways so I'm in camera. But if you're standing, it's nice to do it with a little bending of the knees, like you're on skis, right? So you inhale as you sweep your arms up, and you exhale as you sweep your arms behind.
Like the ski. Okay.
Right? And you can do it with or without sound. You don't have to do those sounds. But repeat that like around 8 times. And then you're going to take fists and reach behind you and put them just above your kidneys, right? And then you're just going to kind of turn them in circles. Just press in there for 15 to 20 seconds. Yeah. Right? Didn't realize you had tension right there.
No. It's been a minute since I've had a massage.
Yeah. Even if you get regular massages, because, we're women, we hold that in there. So, 15 or 20 seconds of that. What a difference, right?
Oh, wow. I got a little tingly up my back.
So I would recommend doing that at least once a week. But, we are neurodivergent, so I'm not going to say. But if you could, do it every day or even several times a day, or split it up. Do one in the morning, one when you're standing there doing the dishes, one when you're brushing, whatever, split it up during the day so that you're doing them each a couple of times. Anyways, that's all I have for this week. How about you?
That's it for me. We'll meet you in the rage, hold you in the grace, and sit with you in everything in between.
And reinventing yourself is a new beginning, but it requires a willingness to surrender the old in order to find victory in the new, right? So that's it until next time. Bye.
Bye.